Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Happy Monday. Today's subject is about moving your team into action. Does that sound like a plan?
It does sound like a plan.
Good, because that's what we're going to do today is move your team into action. Woo. So maybe you have a team of people who just seem to be kind of stuck where they're at. You know, maybe they've ordered once or twice, maybe a couple of times. Maybe they've enrolled a couple of individuals, you know, maybe even some of those individuals are doing something in For Life and some aren't. Yeah. Well, maybe some of those have reached a rank in For Life, but have stayed there for a while when you know their goal is still ahead of them. So as their sponsor, what can you do to help them achieve their goals, and why is helping their goals important?
Interesting subject for today.
Yes. So why is helping your own team important?
I'll tell you.
Okay, you tell me. I'll take
All right. So helping your team achieve their goals is vital to helping you achieve your own goals. All ranks above Diamond require 2 or 3 rank qualified individuals in separate leagues. So by you helping them achieve their goal, it's like helping you achieve your goal.
I don't know. That sounds like leveraging.
It does. Whoa. I love that.
Right? Yeah.
You always know how to like plug in, you know.
Right? Yeah. Thank you. And what that means by 2 to 3 rank qualified individuals in separate leagues is if you look at the Life Rewards brochure from For Life, there is a place in there that tells you the rank requirements for each rank. And some of those do require to have, like Diamond Elite, for instance, requires you to have 2 diamonds in your organizations, but they have to be in separate legs. And what a leg means is that a leg starts with an individual that's on your front line.
Right.
So the person that you personally enrolled and sponsored is the start of your leg, and anybody underneath of them is their leg.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways.
So you are their enroller and or sponsor, their upline support. So if you want to achieve your goals in For Life, you will not get there without supporting your whole team.
Yes.
It's like a train has a bunch of moving parts to it, and if one's not working, you've got a problem.
That is so true. Yeah. Because if you want a business that can go on autopilot, because that's something that people really shoot for when they hear about a home-based business, is something that they can work on now. Maybe someone has the goal, and this business has the potential to do this. If someone has a goal to be like, okay, for the next year, I am doing nothing but this business, and I am going hardcore at it. So next year I can chill, you know, that kind of thing. This business has the ability to do something like that for you. So if you're looking for something like that, you have to foster something called duplication in your organization. So what does this mean? It means that introducing your team members to systems that help educate and equip them so you don't personally have to do this yourself. So when you do something with your team member, that team member should be doing the exact same thing with their team members, because having a business that goes on autopilot, like I said, is not out of reach, especially as a member of this team, because you have access to courses, support, tools, and resources to support you on your journey.
Right.
We said this in a past training. If you position yourself as the knower of all, then your team is going to come to you for everything. Okay. And maybe that sounds great to some people, but to me, if I want a business that can go on autopilot, I'm going to equip each one of my team leaders with the ability to find information, to know where the answers to questions are.
Right.
You know, all these different things, because they can also do that with their team. And then guess who their team is going to go to for the answers to questions? Their upline support. Or if you have fostered that duplication really well in your team, they probably could just go to the support and tools that we have online. Then the upline can focus on being proactive and not reactive.
Right.
That is the ultimate thing to achieve when you go on autopilot. So now that we have how and why it's important to help your team, let's go ahead and go through how to move your team into action, because maybe you already have a team, or maybe you are being proactive and not reactive, and you're learning how to move your team into action before you even have a team. And if that is the case, we give you a round of applause. We appreciate proactiveness around here. So what is the first thing? Oh, you want me to do it?
I was going to be like, Caitlin, what's the first thing that we can do?
Okay. The first thing is so hard. I don't know if many people can do this.
Let me hear it.
So get
Lay
ready.
it on me.
Establish a relationship with your team members. Revolutionary, I know, is a revolutionary concept. Your goal is to understand them, their goals, what they feel capable of doing. You know, this journey is filled with ups and downs. And as their guide in for life, you should be a support for them in the ups and the downs of guiding them to their goals. Okay.
Right.
So you have to be sure that you're contacting them. So if you're not continually in contact with them, that should be the very first thing that you work on. So write that down. Stay in contact with my team members. If you're already using the daily, weekly, and monthly checklist, then you are already on the ball, because we prompt you to get in touch with your team on each of those checklists.
Right.
Okay. So in contacting them, it doesn't have to be lengthy. It can just be checking in with them and saying hello. You know, you can thank them for placing an order in for life. You can be like, hey, I saw you have a new enrollment. Could you three-way me in to introduce me to them? You know, when you enroll them, you have to call them and get their permission to stay in contact with them, because this relieves the pressure of your name coming across their phone. When your name comes across their phone and you haven't asked if you can stay in contact with them, the first thing they're going to do is think about, what are all the things that I haven't done that we talked about that I was going to do since the last time that we talked?
Right.
You know, but if you ask, hey, can I just stay in touch with you? See how you're doing, you know, just check up on you occasionally, just see how you're doing, you know, then that will totally release the pressure. They will not feel pressured when you contact them very often. They'll feel supported. You know, they're not going to be anxious when they see your name pop up on their phone. So what is the next part about establishing a relationship with your team members? It sounds like it's something about their goals.
I think that you hit the jackpot.
Right?
Okay, so she was right on finding out their goals. So DiamondsR4Life has a goals timeline worksheet, and she has, I believe that we had a live that we showed the worksheet.
Yes.
And it's so awesome. I love it. And it really helps me to keep, you know, myself in check.
Yes.
It helps to break their goals down into stepping stone goals, then make effort-oriented goals to help them complete each stepping stone goal.
Yeah. And as a pro tip, because we love pro tips around here, as a team leader, you need to do this before you suggest your team to do it. You need to know how this list works, how it works for people before you walk through it with a team member. But we highly suggest that you take that goals timeline, and maybe that's one of the first things that you address when you enroll them is, hey, let's go through this goals timeline together. Now we are putting that into the welcome system, the rank training, the roadmap. So they are going to be introduced to this goals timeline, even if you don't personally introduce them to it. But I feel like it's a really great show of support and establishing a relationship with your team member when you call them up and are like, hey, can we do this together? I feel like we would really, you know, nail out some goals for this year.
Right.
So another suggestion is to have their goals in front of you every single time you talk to them. Right. Now, even if you write it down on that goals timeline, you can take a picture of it and save it in your phone. You can take the notes from that and put it in your phone somewhere. However you keep track of your team, that is where I would keep their goals. So every time you talk to them, you can keep the conversation leaning towards their goals, because some people suffer from feeling like they have a lack of direction.
Right.
So even if you have gone through that goals timeline with them and you call them up a couple weeks later, if they aren't staying on top of things, if they aren't doing at the minimum those daily, weekly, monthly checklists, then they're going to feel like they have a lack of direction. They're going to feel like they don't know what to do. So then when you call them up and you have that goals timeline, you can be like, okay, well, here was our focus for last week. Do we want to make that focus for this week as well? And that's a really great way to be very gentle in bringing that back up, because you're not saying you didn't complete this last week, let's move this over to next week. You're basically saying that, but it's just it's a softer approach to that.
Right.
Because you want to encourage them. You don't want to make them feel burdened about that. So an idea is to introduce this. Another idea is you can call them up at a time, maybe you already scheduled that with them at some point, or maybe this is one of those checkup times, and you can just be like, hey, Sarah, are we still shooting for builder by the end of this month? And if she says yes, then you can be like, okay, so some of those effort-oriented goals that we laid out, we're reaching out to a few people. How is that going? Are you running into any issues with that? This positions you as a support for her, not a, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What are your results?
Right.
Are you, all that fun stuff. So this is how you can answer that question of what should I be doing? So what is number 3?
All right. Once you enroll people or figure out what your current members' goals are, categorize them so you know how to work with them.
Yes, there's many categories of people, and categorizing your downline is such an important part of being a great leader. Okay.
Right.
So we're going to go through those categories with you, and we're going to help you make a plan for these people.
We are ready. Let's hear it.
We're moving your team into action, guys.
Girl.
Okay. So the first category is people who are in but don't buy anything. How many times have you enrolled someone? Maybe they purchased once, or maybe they haven't purchased at all and they never order again. Okay. So at one point, maybe they were also interested in building a business, but something has kept them from doing this. Maybe they just feel like they don't have enough time. Maybe they just feel lost in what to do or how to get going. Maybe they just feel like it's too much of an investment for them. Okay, so we're going to pinpoint these apprehensions. Don't have time. Okay, so how much time do they feel they would have to commit to 4Life? You can be like, if you're still interested in building a business in 4Life, I would love to help you. I have a goals timeline worksheet that we can fill out to break down your goal into stepping stone goals, and then the effort to put towards each goal. And you can work those effort-oriented goals into your week. And then we'll reevaluate the progress towards your goal every 2 weeks or month. I'm here for you if you want to do this.
That's a good one.
Okay, another apprehension. They feel lost in what to do. Okay, so what you can do is fill out that goals timeline with them to break down that big goal that they have into those stepping stone goals, and then the effort to put towards achieving those stepping stone goals. Okay, and you can say something similar to what I already said. So I have a goals timeline worksheet that we can fill out to break down your goal. You can work through these, blah, blah, blah. You basically say the same thing. Okay, you're just being a support for them. If they feel like it's too much of an investment, you can give them a couple of low-cost marketing ideas. And DiamondsR4Life has a $0 investment worksheet that they can reference, or that you can walk through with them, okay? Because they don't have to buy product to earn commissions. 4Life does not require product purchase to earn commissions. What they do require is 100 PV, okay? And 100 PV, or the phrase PV, it includes LP that they personally purchase, and the LP that's purchased on their My Shop website. So guest customer orders are included in that 100 PV requirement for commissions.
Awesome.
So if they want to just send their My Shop link to people to be able to get that 100 PV on their My Shop, that is something that they're able to do and they don't have to purchase anything.
Right.
Okay, another category. Are we ready?
We're ready for this.
Okay, people that just want to consume product. Okay, so these are just product consumers, but also people that may have been enrolled with a desire to work the business, but are totally content with just being a product consumer in 4Life. How many people do you have that are in this category? Okay, so as their sponsor, first and foremost, you have to be totally okay with these people not building a business.
Right.
Because about 60% of people who join an opportunity to build a business only become product users.
Very true.
And these people are very important. They have value. You might think, oh, well, they were going to build a business. This doesn't help me with my rank qualified people. Guess what? It helps you with your LP requirements. And
Sure
if they're
does.
totally content with being a product consumer, guess what? You have a regular order on your list.
Right.
So these people can be made up of people who have joined as a product consumer, and your only responsibility is to establish a relationship with them, learn their health goals, and keep in contact with them to make sure that their experience with 4Life is doing great, because you are a 4Life affiliate. You're an affiliate of 4Life, so you have to be a brand ambassador of 4Life and make sure that their experience with 4Life and 4Life's products is going great. So even just reaching out to them and saying something like, hey, I saw your order was placed. Thank you so much for placing your order.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need any help. Or, hey, 4Life just announced a BOGO offer this week. So I just wanted to let you know in case you were interested. It does include one of your usual product purchases.
Yeah.
Okay. Or, hey, it's been a couple months since you started on the Feel Right. How are you liking it? See? And then you can also build on top of these. Just a pro tip. You can build on top of these good experiences with the product to get referrals. Okay, because this category of people are totally content with being product users. They are okay with not having a business. And if they are having great results, then ask them, hey, do you know of anybody else that would be interested in having the same type of results as you? And maybe that will fire them back up in the business.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get you a referral and you'll have a regular order on your list again.
Yes.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's a win-win.
Boom.
Okay, so there's also people who enrolled as a business builder but are content with being a product consumer in this category. So you're going to do the exact same steps as you would with the normal product consumers. So just be ready if they ever bring up building again to assist them. So just be very gentle with these people. Don't put pressure on them to be one of your top leaders. Okay, just be very helpful when they need help. Check up with them and see if they've run into any issues with their weekly goals. Just be very gentle, very supportive, but don't put too much pressure on them. You have to be respectful of their goals and how content they are with where they're at.
Absolutely.
It's the other category.
So the other category is people who like the product, continue to use it, and hope they have the capability of doing something. These people may never find the time to do anything, but that is okay. So once again, we'll say again that just be okay with these people not doing anything, because I mean, they're helping your business and they're totally fine with it.
Yeah.
So
your only goal or your only responsibility is to help the people that enroll
right.
get to where they want to be. And if the people have reached where they want to be, you've done your job. You know, and the approach for this category is you're going to go through the exact same steps as the ones above for those who enrolled to build but are content being a product user. So just be very gentle. Don't put pressure on these people. Just, you know, very supportive. Okay,
that.
What's the other category?
Another category is people who like the products. They are capable of doing something and know that they are capable of doing, a business, but they may not know, maybe they want to dip their toe in the water.
Right. There's a difference between knowing and doing.
Right.
So with these people, you can definitely do a lot more to focus in on helping them achieve their goals. You want to stay in contact with them, fill out their goals timeline with them, and get them planning actionable tasks for their day, week, and month. Now, as we said before, here's how the weekly checklist and the goals timeline mesh together. Okay. So your foundation is the daily, weekly, monthly checklist. It has every single item on there that if you only did these checklists, you would keep momentum going in your business. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Okay. The goals timeline is targeted to your goals. This is a general foundation. This is a proactive foundation. Okay. So with the goals timeline, you take your big goal of Diamond Elite and you break that down into the steps that get you to Diamond Elite. Okay. And you don't focus on hitting Diamond Elite. What you're going to focus on every month is one stepping stone goal that leads to your big goal. And how to achieve that stepping stone goal is broken down into effort that you're going to put towards that stepping stone goal.
Right.
And then those effort tasks or goals that you lay out, you're going to put on top of this daily, weekly, monthly checklist. So you have a foundation, and now you have something built on the foundation that's targeted right to the goals that you want to achieve. Okay, so that is how those mesh together. So if you want to get your team planning those actionable tasks, you have to encourage the daily, weekly, monthly checklist and that goals timeline. Okay, so examples of staying in contact, because this is a very vital thing as well,
Right.
is something that's just like, hey, make sure you complete the tasks on the daily checklist when you have time today, even if they're the only items that you complete for growing your business. Doing just this is a really good step to growing your business. Short, sweet, to the point. Here's another one. Hey, it's the start of a new week. Make sure you complete the weekly checklist and get a plan laid out for the week. Now, this is a little bit more blunt. You're going to have to personalize these for each person because everybody is different.
Yeah.
If someone sent me that text, I feel like I would be okay with it. But I also am very goal oriented. There's some people that are goal oriented, but also enjoy the relationship that they have with their upline. I would be that way too, but I also feel like you have to balance emotional and logic. So make sure to personalize these so the impact of your statement can make a greater impact if you actually take the time to craft something that will work for that person.
Right.
So, okay, another one. Hey, I saw Sarah enrolled on your front line. Could you three-way me in to meet her? I'd love to talk with you both as a team. Okay, another one is, hey, I enjoyed talking with you today. I'm excited to see where this plan takes you. Do you mind if I check up with you at the end of the week to see how things are coming?
Yeah.
But what if they say no to that? Guess what you do? Okay, when would be a better time?
Yeah, that's simple.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly. So anytime that your members don't want you to check up on them at a later time, you can always say, when would be a better time? Or, okay, I'll plan on touching base with you at the beginning of next week sometime. If a better time works for you, just let me know. Okay. And if they say, something that's like negative towards that after you ask when would be a better time, if they say something negative, just leave the ball in their court in a way. If they're just like, listen, right now just doesn't work for me, just be like, hey, that's totally fine. You just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just reach out to you by next month.
Perfect.
You give them the space, you leave the ball in their court, but you also leave that breadcrumb of responsibility for yourself. So they can also be expecting that you're going to reach out to them at the beginning of February or at the beginning of next month. But they also feel like there's pressure let off. Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. Hey, I know we talked about you making your warm market list this week. How is that coming? Just wanted to see if you ran into any issues and if I could help in any way. Now, every time that we're saying just wanted to see if you ran into any issues, that positions you as a support. Okay, because if you just say, I know we talked about you making your warm market list this week, how's that coming? They could be like, they could feel, if they didn't do it, they could feel attacked in a way.
Yeah.
You know, because let's say this part is them feeling, is the like feeling of attack. There's branches off of that. So maybe they didn't feel attacked, but there's different things that come off of feeling attacked that they could feel, but it stems into feeling attacked.
Yeah.
So an easy way to combat that feeling and so their walls don't come up is to just be like, did you run into any issues? Because that's positioning yourself as a problem solver. Can I help you with some issues? Anything like that. So at the end of the day, these are all things that we would expect a great leader to do with their team.
Absolutely.
So there's obviously so many more things. These are just tips on how to move your team into action because you have a team, or maybe you're being proactive and doing this stuff so you can lay out a plan for yourself so you can move your team into action the minute that they enroll.
Right.
Okay. But maybe you also have people that have, you know, need to be moved into action. You now have steps to take your team from stop to, you know,
go for it. Just
pedal to the metal. Right? Okay. So if you have things that you expect a great leader to do, add them to your list. Put them in the comments. We would love to add those things as a discussion for people to learn from as well. If things work for you, let them work for other people too.
Yeah. We can put them in our bait box, you know?
Yeah.
What you and Shay talk about.
You.
I listen.
You sure do. Okay. So also we want to mention newsletters are so important to use when staying in contact with your team. And as a member of Professional Networkers and DiamondsR4Life, you are a part of our newsletter blast. So we send them out so you don't have to do a newsletter. But if you desire to do a newsletter yourself, obviously feel free to do it. We do want to make note that if the individual is below our 10 levels, we can't get access to the individual's email address. So it's the sponsor's responsibility, your responsibility to report the name, ID number, address, and email address to Professional Networkers. So support@professionalnetworkers.com. Okay. Now, a caveat. If you are a member of DiamondsR4Life, which you obviously are if you're watching this, just point your distributors to the DiamondsR4Life portal.
Yes.
We say it all the time, but the one thing, if you're going to do one thing, we don't recommend that you only do one thing, but we're just saying the portal is a great place to be, especially if you're wanting to build a great, big, huge team and you're wanting to foster that duplication in your team. Send them to the portal. In the portal, we have a welcome system that integrates them into our newsletter system, which is one of many things that are in the welcome system. So we highly suggest that you do that. Okay. And as a leader, your team will start to expand when you use the principles that we have shared, when you use the resources that we have created. Okay. So as it grows, you're not going to be able to reach out to everybody. It's just going to be impossible. So you have to foster that duplication in your team because you can't do everything. I know that is hard. It's a hard thing to realize, but you cannot do everything. If you do something with your team members, make sure that they're doing the exact same things with their team members until it becomes a habit in your team. Okay. They need to be doing the same things that you are doing. And in order for that to pay off, you have to grow into a great leader yourself. So get into those good routines. If you're being proactive and you don't have a team right now, get proactive, put these things into practice, build those good habits. So when you have someone come in, you are prepared to take them to success with you.
Powerful.
We love that.
Power statement.
All right, guys. So this was the last Monday night meeting of January 2022. So we will see you next time. We're going to shout out the comments right after we end this. We'll see you guys tomorrow for product training at 8 p.m.
See you then.